This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis.
Set to go for Tampa Bay Lightning, New Jersey Devils, Game 3 of the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, pre-game edition. It's a little bit of a mouthful, isn't it? No, it was just a special edition, Monday afternoon. Great way to start the week. Stanley Cup playoffs continue to roll along. We're excited about game number 3 between the Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. Everybody's traveled north. They're all settled in and ready to go. Both teams have had pregame skates. We've got lineups and what they should look like for both teams. And there are some changes. There are some adjustments that you want to keep an eye on, and should be pretty interesting. Lots of Bolts talk, of course, as we get set for game 3, which faces off just after 7:30 in New Jersey as the Devils host the Tampa Bay Lightning. Lightning up 2-0 in the series. We got lots of info on the other 3 games on the Monday schedule as well. Plus, if we can squeeze in a little bit of time to focus on some of the stuff that took place over the weekend. Wow, is it an interesting time in the Stanley Cup playoffs? Oh, it's unbelievable. Yep, we're looking forward to it. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, our Twitter handles to interact with us. We love comments and questions. If there's things in particular you're looking for info about, feel free to shoot one to us at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports on Twitter and on Instagram. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is the email. It's a good Monday. The first round of the playoffs continue. Tampa Bay Lightning and New Jersey, as I mentioned, everybody's moved north, getting set for game number 3. I suspect there were a lot more from New Jersey that traveled south to Tampa Bay for one or both of the first 2 games of the series versus warm weather folks that decided, hey, let's go north and enjoy April in the Northeast and maybe catch some Lightning games on the road. If you did, good for you, and I hope you brought some warm clothes because the weather's been kind of nasty in a lot of places. Hope you're safe. Hope everything is good. Apparently, they have canceled some of the outdoor pregame plans. They're pushing it back to Wednesday. There was a pregame party, so apparently some of that has been postponed, but make sure you're safe. Get to the game in plenty of time. You want to see what's going on. Following 2 victories on home ice, Lightning in the driver's seat in this series, 2-0. Now, everybody realizes that, sure, it's great to have a 2-0 lead, but both those victories were on home ice. Now everything shifts up to Newark and the Prudential Center, and you got to bet that the New Jersey Devils are going to be feeding off that home ice crowd. It's been an interesting start to the postseason. We're not even a week into it, and there has been so much going on all around the league. But good for the Tampa Bay Lightning to have that 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. I actually prefer to call it a first-to-4 series because it's kind of what it is. It's a bit of a race. You get to 4 first, you get to move on and continue in the playoffs as opposed to the best-of-7. You don't always play 7 games, but you're playing 4 to win 4. Tampa, what we've noticed in the first couple of games in the series, both victories, both nice wins for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Everybody's pleased, but I don't think anyone would argue the fact that the Tampa Bay Lightning have yet to play their best hockey for an entire 60-minute game. We have seen flashes of it. We've seen bursts of it. We've seen streaks of it. There have been good points in the first 2 games in Amalie Arena that the Tampa Bay Lightning have taken advantage of, and they've managed to pick up victories. In the first 2 games of the series, though, we have seen the quick strike ability of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Given an opportunity, given an opening, if there is a lapse in defensive coverage, they will take advantage of it. They will strike, they will score goals, they will get victories. Improving your performance throughout the playoffs is one of the keys to success, not just in round number 1, but hopefully in subsequent rounds as the team goes deeper. We've probably learned a few things about the Devils, plus probably a few things about the Lightning going through the first couple of games, and we'll look at a couple of keys to focus on as we get set for game number 3, again, face-off shortly after 7:30 this evening. For game number 3, the lineups are changing for both teams. Both Ryan Callahan, Dan Girardi left game number 2 with injuries, did not return. Dan Girardi did participate in the morning skate. He was paired with Victor Hedman. He is listed as a game-time decision. I would take it as a positive that he got out for the morning skate. Unless something happens throughout the day, I haven't seen anything different yet reported. He went out, took rushes through the morning skate, I would take that as a positive. Ryan Callahan, has already been ruled out of game number 3. He, too, was on the ice for the morning skate, was not part of line rushes. The New Jersey Devils, as you expected, are going to have some changes. Corey Schneider, who has had his struggles this season for the New Jersey Devils, in fact, has yet to win a game in the calendar year 2018, and you know that will be mentioned often over the next few hours until that changes. But Schneider has yet to win in 2018. His season stats aren't the greatest. Here's his record from the regular season: 17, 16, and 6. A goals against average of 2.93, which isn't exactly mind-blowing, and neither is the save percentage of 907. Those are not great numbers. But as we mentioned, it has been a struggle for Corey Schneider this season. He has battled and struggled, as we have seen top goaltenders throughout the NHL do on a number of different fronts. They have difficult times. Sometimes they work through them quickly. Other times it takes a little longer, and it has taken Corey Schneider longer. He's also suffered from some injuries this season, and that has been part of the battle. That's why the Devils went with Keith Kinkaid down the stretch. They got themselves into the postseason because he played well enough. He was playing better than their original starter at the start of the season. So John Hines and the New Jersey Devils understandably went with Keith Kinkaid. He gave them the best chance to win. That's why they started the postseason with him, and it was the right call. It was the right call for the New Jersey Devils to make that decision at the start of the playoffs. He's the guy. He's the guy you've been riding to get in. Now, in game number 2, when the game got a little lopsided, the game got a little out of hand, and we saw, as mentioned, the quick strike ability of the Tampa Bay Lightning, that's when we saw the switch. Corey Schneider came in, played game number 3, and you would have to believe that John Hines of the New Jersey Devils already had an eye that this might be a move that he would want to make for game number 3. Corey Schneider's a proven commodity. Struggles this season and injuries, of course. He is a proven commodity as a top number 1 goaltender. If you can get him back into the lineup, if he's playing well enough, if he's healthy enough, both mentally and physically, get him in. So they wanted to get him some game action against the team he would be facing. Makes sense that he would go in and play the third period and looked pretty good at times doing it. He showed signs that he is an elite level goaltender. It was a limited performance. I don't want to say the game was completely decided, but it was channeling in that direction. So yeah, that's one thing to look at. But it's the right decision for New Jersey to make the switch. If Jersey doesn't make the switch, they play Keith Kinkaid in game number 3 and they lose, well, then it's all over. It's too late to make the switch. This was the time to do it. The Lightning would have been aware of it as well. Play 20 minutes, mop up duty, that's one thing. Get you a little bit of game action, get you a little bit of a feel with the puck because you haven't played in a while and you want to get a firsthand look from the ice level at your opponent. So he got that. Lightning are up 2-0 in the series. Jump on him quick. He hasn't played in a game, hasn't started a game in a long time. Get on him quick. Also out of the New Jersey Devils lineup for an awfully long time, Marcus Johansson. He's back in. Suffered an injury, hasn't been in the lineup since January the 23rd. He will return to the New Jersey Devils lineup tonight. Been suffering from concussion symptoms, and it has been a long way back. Only recently was allowed to get back into action and start practicing with the team. He has been out and suffering for a long time. And what he brings to the New Jersey Devils in their game against the Tampa Bay Lightning is playoff experience. We've talked about it through the first couple of games of this series, and there are not a lot of New Jersey Devils on that roster because it's a different team than we have seen in years past. There are not a lot of players with a lot of playoff experience. I believe it was 9 that have played their first playoff game ever through the first couple of games of this series. The Lightning's speed has exposed the Devils' defense on a few different occasions through the first couple of games of this series. We'll want to see more of that in game number 3 that's set to go later on this evening. Whether it's creating a play with a rush up the ice. We saw a great example of the Lightning using their speed to create opportunities, to create potential goal scoring and successful goal scoring. Nikita Kucherov pushing the puck past the Devils' defense, jumping on it, making a play. whether it's that kind of a play or whether it's in a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-2 rush up the ice, we've seen the Devils use their speed. As we've talked about all along, the New Jersey Devils are facing a difficult task because the Tampa Bay Lightning have a superior lineup. They have more depth, whether it's at the forward position or whether it's at the defensive position. The Tampa Bay Lightning are 3 lines deep. It starts to get pretty thin in terms of the New Jersey Devils, and that's the battle that they're going to have to understand. Let's look at the lineups as they went through the morning skate and the projected lineups for the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. Based on the morning skate this morning, the top line will remain the same with JT Miller, Steven Stamkos, and Nikita Kucherov on the first line. Palat, Point, and Johnson on line number 2. Killorn, Cirelli, and Gord. And then it's going to be Kunitz, Paquette, and Corey Conacher, who will replace Ryan Callahan, as mentioned, left with an injury. He was on the ice during the morning skate. Will he be back for game number 4? We'll have to wait and see. The other good part about it, bringing in a Corey Conacher, is he has experience in some playoff runs in the minor leagues as well. So that is a positive for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The defensive pairings will look like this. Dan Girardi, a game-time decision, but should be paired with Victor Hedman. Stralman, McDonough, Coburn, and Sergachev will be the third pair. And it's been interesting how Mikhail Sergachev has been used. That pair of Coburn and Sergachev has been used from John Cooper. Again, much like we saw at the start of the regular season, Mikhail Sergachev hasn't been asked to do too much. His minutes got scaled back a little bit when Ryan McDonough was acquired at the trade deadline. He could eat up some more minutes, gave you a great 1-2 punch with Victor Hedman and Ryan McDonough. So you get to ask a little bit less of Mikhail Sergachev, but he has looked good when he has been out on the ice. He's been positive. He's created opportunities. He's made good defensive plays. But putting him in a position to succeed was what the Tampa Bay Lightning approach was for Mikhail Sergachev at the start of the season, and we have seen more of that as in the first couple of games of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Yes, expect Vasilevsky in goal. Matthew Pekka was also recalled by the Tampa Bay Lightning after game number 2. We'll wait and see how that shakes out and whether or not he will make it into the lineup or not. Here's a look at the New Jersey Devils lineup for game number 3. Based on the morning skate, here's how it's going to look with the adjustment of Marcus Johansson coming into the lineup. Hall, Hischier, Palmieri remains the top line. That's been the line that everyone has wanted to focus on and needs to focus on to stop the New Jersey Devils, responsible for so much of their offense, for so much of their scoring. If you can contain the Hall, Hischier, and Palmieri line, you will go a long way to helping assure yourself of another victory. Marcus Johansson looks like he's going to slot in on the second line along Pavel Zacha and Patrick Maroon. Watching the first couple of games, it's been a criticism of mine with Patrick Maroon, even before he was acquired by the New Jersey Devils, back when he was with the Edmonton Oilers, he was thought to be great, this bigger, larger, physical winger. He does have some soft hands, but boy, is he slow. He looks like he is absolutely struggling to make it up the ice once or twice. And it's just, the legs or the mind wants to, but just the legs just don't seem to have the will to go for Patrick Maroon so often. Definitely an area that can be exploited, because if the speed drops off for the New Jersey Devils that quickly, then it becomes a much tougher task. Coleman, Zajac, and Nason will be on the third line. Miles Wood is going to slide down to the fourth line alongside Boyle, and Stafford will make up the fourth line. The 3 defensive pairs, it may be a little different than this, but it's looking like Green and Vatanen, Moore and Severson, Butcher and Lovejoy. Kind of interesting. Mirko Mueller may make his way into the lineup as well. The Devils have used 7 defensemen. We've seen Taylor Hall double shifted at times to try to generate more offense from the New Jersey Devils lineup. That's something that we may be seeing. And it looks like that Michael Grabner will be the player who is scratched and out of the lineup for the New Jersey Devils. Not aware of an injury situation, but that's kind of an interesting choice. As mentioned, because of the speed and the skating talent and the ability of the Lightning, you want to have as much speed and talent in your lineup to be able to match that if you're the New Jersey Devils. And that's one of the reasons that Michael Grabner was acquired. Whether it's killing penalties, whether it's out 5-on-5, he can create opportunities using his speed. Whether it works out for John Hines and the New Jersey Devils coming back into their home building, they're bound to be boosted by an enormous crowd that gets them going. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Did have a question through to us on our social media channels. Do you agree with the play of the Devils? Do I agree that the play of the Devils will be affected by nerves as the game moves to New Jersey, and if there is a fight or flight mentality taking over? There may be the initial nerves. I don't like to think that players at this level get nervous. I find it to be more they get anxious. They get anxious, and some are really excited, but it's a sort of a nervous energy to get going, as opposed to they're tentative or they're a little frightened to go out onto the ice. How many times have we heard the cliche, once the puck drops and you get out and you have contact for the first time, you make your first shot, you make your first save, that's when the nerves and the butterflies go away. But as opposed to being frightened, it's an anxiousness and an excitement to get going is what I've found most often from players. We'll see how it plays out tonight for the New Jersey Devils and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Puck drop is shortly after 7:30 p.m. Much more on this Tampa Bay Lightning New Jersey Devils series. We'll start to look at the other matchups as well, some good ones on the schedule. And again, as mentioned, some really intriguing series that have been taking place around the National Hockey League. Boston is at Toronto. Nashville is at Colorado. Anaheim is at San Jose. There are interesting storylines in all three of those other series as well. We'll touch on them in just a little bit. Also want to go back and look at some of the things that took place over the weekend. Some remarkable game action, some questionable things that you've seen throughout the first few days of the playoffs. But it has been an interesting 4 or 5 days throughout. We're not even a full week into it, and there are plenty of storylines to follow. We'll continue to do it. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, our Twitter and Instagram handles. Thanks for the first questions and comments. If you got them, feel free to shoot them along. We'll address them as we can. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, a special pregame edition. Back with much more after the break.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing. Nova Product Design. Industrial design. Mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more. So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff. The Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes.
Welcome back. It's the pregame edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's Monday. It's just a few hours away until the start of game number 3 between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. The scene has shifted to New Jersey from the warmth and sunshine and I guess a few storms over the weekend too in Florida up to New Jersey where they've had to deal with their own storms and stuff and everything. Again, hope everybody's safe. Hope you're dealing with the weather okay. It's in a lot of areas. It's kind of nasty. So hope you're doing okay. We're excited about game number 3, looking forward to it. The Tampa Bay Lightning with a 2-0 series lead. If you capture game number 3, that's got to be an enormous boost to the confidence. Something that we'll be looking for with the Lightning, though, consistency. Playing an entire game at the elite level that we have seen flashes of and we have seen moments of, but we have not seen for enormously long stretches. They've been able to take advantage of opportunities, whether it's a defensive breakdown, or just an opportunity that they created themselves, but we have not seen them play to their peak potential for longer stretches of the game. Successful in the first 2 games to get victory, but John Cooper and the rest of the Lightning players will also tell you that they want more. They want to be playing at that elite level through a longer stretch of time. As mentioned, there are going to be some lineup changes for both the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. Ryan Callahan is out for sure. Dan Girardi is a game-time decision, but hopeful and looks like he will go paired with Victor Hedman once again. Corey Conacher will go in for Ryan Callahan, and for the New Jersey Devils, it's Corey Schneider who's going to start in goal, and Marcus Johansson is going to come back into the lineup as well after being out since nearly the end of January with concussion symptoms. Going to be interesting to see what comes of game number 3. There should be a good crowd in New Jersey providing excitement, weather the early part of it, and then get on with your game going forward. Other games coming up on Monday night as well offer a lot of intrigue and excitement. Boston Bruins are up 2-0 in their series with the Toronto Maple Leafs. That series has shifted back to Toronto, and the Maple Leafs have had absolutely no answer for the Boston Bruins throughout the first 2 games of that series. Lopsided losses. Actually, in the first game, you thought, okay, well, that was kind of a significant victory. It was completely dominating in game number 2. The top line for the Boston Bruins has been an absolute force. They have imposed their will over the Toronto Maple Leafs. David Pastrnak scored a hat trick, had a 6-point game in game number 2. He's got 4 goals and 5 assists in the first 2 games of the series. That's domination. Brad Marchand on that line as well. Only 1 goal, but 5 assists. And Patrice Bergeron also has 5 assists. Here's an important statistic of note. All 3 players, David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, +6 in the first 2 games of that series. Now, unless the Toronto Maple Leafs can find a way to slow down this bunch, their season ends quickly. The other issue for the Maple Leafs is it's not just the top line for the Boston Bruins that has been putting up points and putting up numbers. They have been getting support scoring throughout their lineup. From the second line, from the third line, it has been an offensive force. In game number 2, in addition to the Bruins playing well, getting scoring, smart plays, defensive structure was a myth for the Maple Leafs in game number 2. Some absolutely brutal giveaways. Wide open spaces available for Bruins players to plant themselves in front of the Toronto Maple Leaf net. It was unbelievable to watch. Lots of time, lots of space, no problem. Pop the puck in. Frederik Andersen gets chased after 3 goals. It was interesting when he came out, and I can understand it from both sides, the decision by the Toronto Maple Leafs and Mike Babcock. It's the 3rd goal that goes in. You don't want it getting completely crazy and out of hand, and you still have a lot of time. So you want to make the change. It's not because Frederik Andersen has necessarily played really poorly, especially when the 3rd goal is a deflection off a player's skate and by you, but you got to wake your team up somehow. You've got to get their attention. Sure, it might be great to wait till the end of the period, but the Bruins were having their way with the Maple Leafs. And it was time to do something to get the team's attention. Now, you can call timeout, but that may be something that you want to have later on as a useful tool as well for a challenge. And I don't know that simply slowing the play down and trying to drag before the start of the face-off after the third goal is enough. You had to do something to get your team's attention. They were in a daze right from the start of the game. Yes, Nazem Kadri of the Maple Leafs was suspended. He lost 3 games for a dangerous hit on Tommy Wingels, and understandably so. That was the right call. Looks like Wingels is going to remain out of the lineup as well after missing game 2 from that hit. Toronto's done some line juggling for game number 3 of their series that I guess they hope will help them. But unless there is some sort of interest and engagement that shows up from the Maple Leafs roster, you can maneuver the bodies on the ice into whatever configuration you want. But unless some sort of determination in play is shown, then there's nothing that's going to change about this team. When they get to Toronto and get set for the opening faceoff, the building should be pretty intense. And sometimes that's enough to get you going, but we haven't seen it through most of the first 2 games, especially in game number 2. Here's how the Maple Leafs lines look after the morning skate, and here's how they should stack up. Hyman, Matthews, and Nylander on the top line. Patrick Marleau on the wing. Thomas Plekanec in between Marleau and Marner, which is an interesting decision. More on that in a second. JVR, Van Riemsdyk, and Connor Brown, Andreas Janssen, Dominic Moore, and Kasperi Kapanen make up the 4 lines. Thomas Plekanec getting moved up from a 4th-line center to a 2nd-line center is an interesting choice. It's been a strange stretch for Thomas Plekanec, not just since he was acquired by the Maple Leafs at the trade deadline, but even previously when he was with the Montreal Canadiens. He was disappointing, was not performing up to the level that he has in the past, and had become a role player at best. The thinking in Toronto is, okay, if he comes in, he can be responsible defensively. The Canadiens were still using him on the penalty kill. Maybe he can fill that role in the bottom half of the lineup, a good, solid defensive specialist. But he has looked displaced from the time he arrived in Toronto. Whether it's on the 4th line, whether it's on the 3rd line, whether it's in a penalty killing role, he does not look comfortable. And I'll give you that part of that is after spending your entire career with one organization, to make the move, to make the switch, especially to go to a rival like that, like going from Montreal to Toronto, that's a significant move from one side of a rivalry to a next, and a giant adjustment for a player who is late in his career. But if Thomas Plekanec plays with the same kind of half-hearted enthusiasm as we've seen and looks confused or unsure and thinking about every move he makes out on the ice, then we're going to see more of what we have from the Boston Bruins in game number 3 of this series. The defensive pairings will look like this. Morgan Rielly, Ron Hainsey, Jake Gardiner, Nikita Zaitsev, Travis Dermott, and Roman Polak. Jake Gardiner, my gosh. It's been such a roller coaster with Gardiner and his career with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's been puzzling to watch. Struggles, good moments, improvement, fall off the map bad at times. In game number 2, he was responsible for goodness knows how many giveaways against the Boston Bruins, and so many of them wound up in the back of the net. I mean, it's just smart, simple plays. That's all you need. And it seems like it's a struggle for so many of the Maple Leafs to do that. Frederik Andersen will be back in goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game number 3 of that series. Puck drop is shortly after 7. Bruins lineup also shuffled a little bit, and in an interesting manner. Tommy Wingels, we mentioned, will still be out of the lineup, but here's how the lines look for the Boston Bruins. David Pastrnak, Patrice Bergeron, and Brad Marchand. Wow. What a lineup it has been. Jake DeBrusk, David Krejci, Rick Nash on the 2nd line. Riley Nash looks like he is set to go back into the lineup as well. He will center the line of Danton Heinen and David Backes in the 3rd line for the Boston Bruins. Schaller, Corrali, and Achari will make up line number 4. The defense pairings, Zdeno Chara, Charlie McAvoy, Krug and Miller, Holden and McQuaid. It looks like Matt Grzelcyk is doubtful for the game because of a lower body injury. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on for the Boston Bruins, who have endured so many injuries throughout this season. But to have one of your defensemen out the way that Grzelcyk has played, it'll be interesting. Out west, 2 more contests as well continue on Monday night as the Stanley Cup playoffs roll on. Game number 3 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Nashville Predators. What a fascinating series this one is. I mean, the whole storybook drama of the Colorado Avalanche, the way they managed to climb from the depths of the NHL a season ago, almost doubling their point total, and on the last day, in the last game of the regular season, winning to get in. It's been an interesting series against the Nashville Predators. Preds are up 2-0 in the series, but realistically, if you've watched these games and seen how the Colorado Avalanche have played, this could be an even series. It could have been 1-1 heading back to Denver for game number 3. In game 2 on Saturday, the Avalanche scored first again. Puck quickly in by Pecorino, and it's like, wow. Once, okay, sometimes it happens, but to see it again, and for the second straight game, to have the Preds chasing the game, and the Colorado Avalanche played game number 2 without Samuel Girard, who looks like he's going to miss game number 3 as well. Jared Bednar says he hopes to have him back for game number 4. But the Preds roster, much like Tampa and New Jersey, the Preds roster is deeper. They have more talent. They have more skill throughout their lineup, throughout their 4 forward lines, and throughout their 3 defense pairs than the Colorado Avalanche do. It's similar to Tampa and New Jersey. But the Avs have not melted under the playoff pressure. They have fought back when the Nashville Predators sorted themselves out, got some scoring going, got a lead. The Avalanche did not melt. They kept going. They fought back. And it turns out that this game was much closer than many thought. It turned out that an empty net goal would be the game-winning goal. Avalanche fought right to the final whistle, and it was something to watch. The Nashville Predators have had a battle and had their hands full with the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado scored 4 goals against Nashville. 4 goals. Could have and perhaps should have won that game. Head coach Jared Bednar said they made some mistakes. They had a couple of breakdowns. If a couple of things had been done differently, if they had gotten a bounce, they very well could have won game number 2. And I believe he's right. Because I'm watching the game, and this is an Avalanche team that is playing free and easy. They're comfortable, relaxed. They've got nothing to lose. No one expected them to be anywhere close to this. And they are giving the Nashville Predators a battle. There was a bad sequence where one defenseman was trying to pass the puck across the ice to another, and the Avalanche were kind of in the process of a change, and there was some confusion about players coming on the ice and going off the ice, and the puck was turned over, and it wound up in the back of their net. Preds were trying to hold on to this lead late in the game. They iced the puck, and there's a face-off in the Nashville end. Colorado, I don't know if they thought about it, but I think they should have called timeout at that point. Their players were really tired. No, you don't want the Nashville Predators to get rest and get sorted out, but their players were really tired, and they had their best players on the ice for some time because the goalie was out, and they were trying to get the tying goal. Ryan Hartman beat out an icing, scored an empty net goal. That proved to be the game winner because the Avalanche, as I said, kept coming, and scored and made it close, and it was a 1-goal game. And it made me think, if they had called a timeout when they were within 1 goal, maybe the Nashville Predators don't ice the puck or anyhow. But it was a much closer game, and it's a much closer series, even though the Predators are up 2-0 on the Colorado Avalanche than I think a lot of people were expecting. Expect a rockin' building in Denver. If you saw the final game of the regular season with the St. Louis Blues and the Colorado Avalanche, it was awesome. The atmosphere, tremendous. And the Avalanche and their fans will be revved up for this one. It'll be good. Avalanche score a goal. Get out in front. Boy, that'll be an interesting. The PA announcer, in Denver too, Alan Roach, he's fantastic. Gives you a big growl, Avalanche goal. He kind of scares me sometimes. It's a little frightening, that deep scary voice. Here's how the lines look for the Avalanche and for the Nashville Predators. Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen, their top line, been responsible for so much of their offense. Again, a top-heavy team, much like the New Jersey Devils that the Tampa Bay Lightning are facing. It is a top-heavy team with one big line. And yes, understandably, Nathan McKinnon has been getting an awful lot of MVP talk. Kerfoot, Jost, and Andrighetto on the second line. Nieto, Soderberg, and Como. Bork, Comfer, and Wilson round out the forward lines for the Colorado Avalanche. The defense pairings, Zadorov and Barrie, Nemeth and Barbiero, Siemens and Warsofsky. Again, Samuel Girard is out for game number 3 with an upper body injury. Head coach Jared Bednar hopes that he can play in game number 4. For the Nashville Predators, here's what we can look for once again. Forsberg, Johansson, and Arvidsson, Fiala, Turris, and Smith. Sissons, Bonino, and Watson, Salomaki, Mike Fisher, and Ryan Hartman, Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, Ekholm, and Subban, Emelin, and Erwin Pecorine in goal, and Jonathan Bernier in goal, of course, for the Colorado Avalanche as well. Semyon Varlamov is out because of that lower body injury he has done for the season. Well, they said he's out for the first round, but he's out for the season. Going to get you set for the Tampa Bay Lightning, New Jersey Devils, game number 3. The scene is in New Jersey. Puck drop shortly after 7:30 p.m. The other game to touch on tonight, the San Jose Sharks hosting the Anaheim Ducks. Want to talk a little bit about that series because it's been really interesting to have the Sharks up 2-0 in that series. A couple of things from the weekend that I haven't got to yet, but I want to make mention of because they're really noteworthy about what's going on in the NHL playoffs. And yes, of course, more on the Bolts and the New Jersey Devils as well. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, our Twitter and Instagram handles. Lots to get to, take you right up through to the top of the hour. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back with more after the break.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing, Nova Product Design. Industrial design, mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more. So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff, the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes.
Man, this hour is flying by. It's a special pregame edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, getting you set for the Tampa Bay Lightning, New Jersey Devils, Game 3 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The series has shifted north to New Jersey. Game time, 7:30, puck drop, about 7:38-ish between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. 3 other games on the Monday schedule. It is Game 3 as well between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. That one starting a little bit earlier. Bruins lead that series 2-0. On the back of the Boston Bruins and that top line of Pasternak and Bergeron and Marchand. They have been piling up the points, and the Bruins lead it 2-0. Nashville is in Colorado. It is game number 3 of that series. Again, the Nashville Predators up 2-0 in the series. Both home victories. It'll be a rockin' Pepsi Center in Denver, and should be quite the atmosphere. It could have been an even series, but it is a 2-0 lead for the Nashville Predators. And as mentioned, San Jose Sharks hosting the Anaheim Ducks in game number 3 of that series. That one is also 2-0, and it's in favor of the San Jose Sharks, who won both games on the road. If you listen to our regular programs on Saturday and Sunday, Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, Saturday and Sunday, we're live at 11 Eastern. I have said for a while that San Jose Sharks team, boy, they're looking pretty good. They've been just kind of sneaky good, and they were challenged a little bit for second spot, and eventually slipped past by the Anaheim Ducks, who got home ice advantage. But it hasn't mattered a bit to the San Jose Sharks. 2-0, 2 road victories, and in game number 1, a shutout. 3-0 was the final. The San Jose Sharks shut out the Anaheim Ducks. Penalties were the reason. Penalties were the problem. Yeah, it was only 1 power play goal that the San Jose Sharks scored against the Anaheim Ducks, but you can't spend most of the game killing penalties. I believe it was 7 minor penalties and 7 power plays that the Sharks had. That just can't be done in the postseason. Martin Jones making 25 saves for that shutout. Then in game number 2, over the weekend, as I'm watching, the Ducks score early, and I think, okay, here we go. Now we're going to see something. This is going to become the series that everyone anticipated it would be. 2 California teams, Northern California versus Southern California. This is what we're going to see. This is the series we expected. Except nobody told the San Jose Sharks, because they scored the next 3 goals and managed to hold on for a 3-2 victory. Again, penalties a bit of an issue. Corey Perry takes a penalty late in the game when they're trying to even the score. There was about 4 minutes left. Bad mistake. You wind up killing 2 minutes and killing half the time remaining that you're trying to get the tying goal. Both goalies have been good in this series. Martin Jones, of course, the shutout in game number 1, making 25 saves. John Gibson has been good for the Anaheim Ducks as well. In fact, he's been spectacular at times. I don't know. I'm curious to see how this one plays out. Shark Tank will be awesome. A fantastic atmosphere. It's going to be fun to watch. Here's the lines and how those should shape up for the Anaheim Ducks on the road. It'll be Ricky Raquel, who is a very good player. If you haven't watched much of the Anaheim Ducks this year, he's worth watching. Raquel, along with Getzlaff and Andre Kasha, who also has been really good since he was called up. Cogliano, Kessler, and Silverberg on line 2. Nick Ritchie, Adam Henrique, and Corey Perry. Corey Perry on the third line, which kind of gives you an indication of who's going well for the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, it's a little bit of depth, but it's Corey Perry's been having his struggles too. Vermette, Grant, and JT Brown round out the forward lines. Lindholm and Manson, 1 defensive pair. Boschman, Montour, Peterson, and BX are the third pair. Of course, Cam Fowler remains out of the lineup with an injury. John Gibson scheduled to start in goal. For the San Jose Sharks, debuting on home ice in game number 3, the top line will be Evander Kane, Joe Pavelski, and Jonas Donskoy. Evander Kane has been a terrific fit in San Jose. You know, when you're playing for a contract, it's amazing what happens. Hertl, Couture, and Bodker, the second line. Timo Meier, Chris Tierney, and Kevin Labanc, the third line. I like Kevin Labanc, too. He's still a young player and still making some young mistakes, but he's making fewer of them and finding a nice spot in the lineup. I could see him being a really good fit as a second line winger long-term, playing well on the third line right now. Carlson, Fair, and Sorensen round out the forward lines for the San Jose Sharks. Paul Martin and Brent Burns on defense. Vlasic and Braun, Dillon and DeMello, the third pair, and Martin Jones, yes, in goal. That's going to be an interesting one because you've got to figure that Anaheim, after losing 2 games at home, they know that we have to go for it right from the start, leave everything out there, empty the tank, pick the cliche you want to use. But this is time now for the Anaheim Ducks. If they want to have any hope of getting back into this series, they have to win. They already have to win 4 of the next 5. You cannot go down 3. And it's a similar situation for the Los Angeles Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights in their series. The series continues. The magic continues for the Vegas Golden Knights. Watching on Sunday, they had 2 victories at home. Then they went to Los Angeles. Okay, now we're going to see the LA Kings. Now we're going to see them get back into it. Now we're really going to see what this series is about. Yep, Vegas won 2, but they were both on home ice. LA, once they got back to Staples Center and got their defense bolstered a little bit, then we would start to see something. Sure enough, Golden Knights win again. 3-2 is the final over the LA Kings, a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. You know, just it's not if, it's when. Should we be surprised at this? I guess we can't anymore. I figured that, you know, when we got into the playoffs, I thought that this was the time. LA was a good team. I thought this was the time that we would see the LA Kings able to take over and win the series against the Vegas Golden Knights. They got suspended defenseman Drew Doughty back. He missed game 2. Jake Muzzin got back into the lineup. He was injured and missed a couple of games. I thought for sure LA is going to win this game. Nope. A couple of defensive breakdowns by the LA Kings, and Vegas took advantage. As we have seen often with Tampa taking advantage of New Jersey and quick strike, we have saw it in the late game with Vegas and LA. They got out-hustled. And it was the best example on what proved to be the game-winning goal. LA Kings win a face-off in their own end and draw the puck back below the goal line. Well, I guess everybody wanted it because most of the Kings roster was below the goal line and trying to retrieve the puck, except they didn't get it. It was Riley Smith who got hold of it and whipped a pass out in front of the net, where who happened to be standing there? William Karlsson. Wild Bill. William Karlsson, who scored 43 goals during the regular season, standing out front of the Kings net with nobody near him. Thank you very much. It's in the net by Jonathan Quick. That made the score 3-1 at that point. Anze Kopitar scored late in the third period to get it closer, but LA just couldn't find a way to get some offense going, and that's been the story of this series. It's great and it's wonderful and it's Cinderella to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights, but the Kings haven't been able to score. LA scores. This is a different series. They've scored 3 goals in 3 games. That's not going to do it. That's not going to win you much. 2 of the goals came in game 3. That's not going to get it done. LA's got to find some offense. It's one thing to talk about the depleted defense, but Vegas hasn't exactly been lighting it up either. Yes, you missed Doughty. Yes, you missed Muzzin. But this series is over now, isn't it? It is. Yes, there will be those that talk about the Los Angeles Kings as being one of the 4 teams that was able to come back after being down 3 games in a series. Well, we've done it once. We know what it takes. A lot of the players from that team are still on this roster. It's not going to happen a second time. It's only happened 4 times, and Vegas hasn't lost 4 straight games all season long. I went back and checked the schedule. They haven't lost 4 games in a row all season long. Kings were also rightfully upset in this game about a bunch of non-calls by the officials. And officiating and discipline has become a very big topic in the first 5 days of the NHL postseason. Some non-calls by the refs, and there was one in particular in this game with the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knight. Anze Kopitar was down in front of the net, and he was kind of tangled up with Eric Haula. Dan O'Halloran and Kyle Riemann decided there was nothing to see as the two engaged. A little pushing, a little shoving, a little cross-check, but the one that got the Kings' attention and got everybody upset was kind of a little bit of a punch, little bit of a butt end with the stick to the face of Anze Kopitar as Eric Haula got up. There has been a lot of questionable officiating in this postseason, in my opinion, and it's too bad. It's been subpar because I think it's taken away some really good hockey action. There's been a number of games that I have watched, and in fact, another one on Sunday was the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild. There's a lot of drama leading up to that game with Winnipeg just trying to get into the city. They took off the day before and had to go back because of the weather. Flew in Sunday morning, but that was another game that kind of got chippy and kind of got nasty, and there was a lot of barking back and forth between players and officials and between benches and officials and between the opposing teams. It's been kind of nasty. And the common denominator of that game was refereed by Wes McCauley and Tim Peel, and so was Game 2 between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. And those two have been probably two of the worst officiated games I have seen in the postseason. Yeah, they're veteran referees. Yeah, that's great that they're letting the guys play. Except that's not really how the playoffs should be decided, with the lowest common denominator of players that are hooking, players that are holding, players that are restraining, players that are roughing and getting in an extra shot, an extra punch, an extra scrum, taking away from the skill and the talent of superior players. I'm okay with physical play. I like it. I think it's a vital part of the game. I want to see it. I want to see it performed well. I don't want to see this, oh, there was a hard, clean check, and now that player is going to have to fend off an opponent who's going to challenge him to a fight. I don't want to see that. I want to see good, hard physical play. I don't want to see the nonsense that has been taken away from so many games in the postseason right now. That's the frustrating part. Oh, they're letting them play. No, they're not. They're letting players get away with offenses that should be penalized, and they are not allowing players of superior talent and skill and ability to show and perform at the highest possible level, which is what the playoffs are billed at. Best of the best, top players in the league, top teams in the league, except when we don't want to call the penalties to allow them to demonstrate their great skill and ability. We went through 6 months of the regular season where we saw great plays, fantastic plays. The level of enforcement was good. It was increased closer to the rule book in terms of slashing. And we've seen marvelous displays of skill on a nightly basis. How come we have to have this shifting standard when we get into the postseason? It becomes an annual debate, and it frustrates me. Just call the penalties. And yes, I want them called for both teams. There are fan bases on both sides of every series now that are upset because they feel they have been wronged. Winnipeg feels they've been wronged because Tyler Myers was injured in a collision. There was no malice. There was no intent to injure by the Minnesota player. It was a collision. It happens out on the ice. Every hit now is getting looked at and said, oh, that should be worthy of a suspension. Because the referees aren't calling the offenses on the ice, everything gets hyper-focused, and it's frustrating. A little more on the Tampa Bay Lightning and New Jersey Devils contest set to go. Game number 3 a little bit later on this evening. We'll run through the lineups for both teams, tell you about who's in and who's out, because there have been changes for both teams, and whatever else we can squeeze in before the top of the hour. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Our final segment coming up right after the break.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing. Nova Product Design. Industrial design. Mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more. So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff, the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes.
Getting set for game number 3 between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. A special edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis will be back again on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, in advance of game number 4. A couple of lineup changes for both teams. Corey Schneider will be the starting goaltender for the New Jersey Devils, and Marcus Johansson is going back into the lineup. He has been out for the New Jersey Devils since January the 23rd. He will be back in. It looks like Michael Grabner is out. Devils may go 4 defensemen. Mirko Mueller may be in. Taylor Hall's been double shifted at times through the first couple of games. We'll see if that plays out exactly. Lineup changes as well for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Corey Conacher is going in to replace Ryan Callahan. He was injured in game number 2, left the game and did not return. Dan Girardi also left game number 2 with an injury and did not return. He was on the ice taking rushes with Victor Hedman at the morning skate. He is listed as a game time decision. But I'm thinking if he took the morning skate, then it's more likely than not he will be in the lineup. The Devils, of course, made a few other lineup changes. Miles Wood shifts down to the fourth line with the addition of Marcus Johansson going in. Going to be an interesting to watch. It's one thing for Corey Schneider to do 20 minutes or so of mop-up duty. I'm going to be watching him closely on in the early going as this game gets started. Game number 3, shortly after 7:30 p.m. Eastern, to see how he does and see if he can get his first victory of 2018. Should be a great matchup. Should be a fun game to watch. The atmosphere inside Prudential Center will be good. They like their Devils as much as the Tampa Bay Lightning fans like their Bolts as well. So expect a lot of excitement and a lot of fun getting into this game. I'm curious to see if we can see more consistency for the Tampa Bay Lightning for longer stretches. They've been really good on the power play, taking advantage of opportunities, and that's something that the New Jersey Devils are going to have to focus on, is staying out of the penalty box, because if you give the Tampa Bay Lightning the opportunity, they will score on the power play. We have seen it too often through the first couple of games of the season, and the New Jersey Devils, if they're going to get a victory and have any chance in this series, have to stay out of the penalty box, and they will take advantage of. Otherwise, the Lightning will take advantage of it. Game number 3 of the series, puck drop, is shortly after 7:30 p.m. Game number 4 of the series, also in Newark, will take place on Wednesday night. We'll be back with another pregame edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Wednesday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific. Looking forward to and enjoy game number 3. Back with you to talk again on our weekend shows and, of course, in advance of game number 3. Have a great day of hockey.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing, Nova Product Design. Industrial design, mechanical engineering and design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more. So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available, or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff. The Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes.